Jadi, just to make it up for you guys, kita ngobrol aja sama satu personelnya, yaitu ujung tombaknya My Chemical Romance sendiri, Gerard.
Hey there, Pete Douglas still reporting live to you for LA Lights concert, as LA Lights Concerts and Java Music Inter presents to you My Chemical Romance and the Black Parade, and I'm sitting here with the front man himself, Gerard. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I want to get right into asking a little bit about the history, first of all, of My Chemical Romance. You yourself, I've read somewhere that you yourself were quite affected by 9/11, September 11, and it somewhat influenced and maybe even gave you this inspiration to start My Chemical Romance. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, it was, well, what it inspired me to do was to do something very meaningful with my life, because the things, what I was doing at the time, I didn't feel that way about it. And it really just kind of forced me to really get off my ass and do something that meant something, so.
And do you find that in My Chemical Romance, and that really brings it out?
Absolutely. I mean, right away it did too. Like from the very first, couple rehearsals, and absolutely in the first show, the first tour, first record, everything about it initially, it automatically made me feel like that.
You yourself have now you've been on tour. It started February 2000, so it's been a year. That's a really long tour.
No, it started like It's I think actually August.
Oh, okay. This is your third leg of the tour?
I don't know.
It's been a long tour. How does it feel to be on tour for so long? Tell me about it. I mean, you've done the same show, but I mean, everybody else sees it as, wow, it's the first time seeing it.
That's the way, if you're in the band, you got to keep that in mind. For a lot of people, it's their first time seeing it. So, I mean, we love playing. So
yeah.
But you get tired, you get a little disconnected when you tour that much. That's the hard part, but playing the show is the easy part.
And this is your third tour that I know of anyway. You've toured with the Offspring and Fall Out Boy during the Warped Tour, and you've also toured with Linkin Park on their Project Revolution tour, but you're touring on your own now, and it's been a long tour so far. So tell me the difference. How does it feel touring on your own once and touring with others?
I mean, they're both good, It's fun to actually support a band, because especially a tour like Project Revolution or like Warped, where you're just out with a bunch of bands.
Right.
It's a lot of fun, and on Project Revolution especially was fun because you had a set schedule, so you knew every day when you were going to play, and you kind of build your day around that. It was awesome.
And is there a lot of crowd sharing? Do you find that their crowd really?
We took that tour. We took it thinking actually we wouldn't share a lot of the crowd. We actually thought it was going to be a tough fight for us.
Okay.
We really did, and it was amazing. Yeah, they really did. Linkin Park's fans really took to this band. I was very shocked and pleasantly surprised.
Right.
And Linkin Park was great to hang out with.
That's great. I can imagine.
They're good dudes. I think everybody knows that.
Alright, welcome back. Still with us on LA Lights Concert, My Chemical Romance and the Black Parade. Nah, mungkin udah pada yang nggak tahu nih ya. Welcome to the Black Parade itu udah ada ide untuk bikin hits-hits itu sejak album pertama mereka, Feature for Sweet Revenge. Nah, setelah kita ngobrol-ngobrol sedikit sama Gerard, tambah interesting dan tambah penasaran kenapa mereka tahan segitu lama untuk ngerilis album ini. Nah, mereka mungkin ada ide untuk mematekin konsepnya atau supaya lagu-lagunya lebih jadi. Yang pasti konsep secara keseluruhan mungkin kalau nggak nunggu segini lama nggak jadi sekeren ini. Jadi untuk tahu lebih dalamnya, coba kita ngobrol lagi terusin dengan frontman for My Chemical Romance himself, Gerard.
I'm going to talk a little bit about the good and bad stuff as well. You've won numerous awards, especially around 2006 and 2007, and some of it was for Best Band, Best Album, Best Track. But in the same polling, you find that there's also a polling for Worst Band that they include you in. I read that most of them were good, but some of them were bad. How do you manage to get that kind of reaction from people? That some of them love you and some of them hate you, or some of them love to hate you?
I don't know. I don't know how we get it from them. I'm like, it's a good thing to kind of have an intense kind of love, and the only way you're going to get that is if there's also an intense kind of hate that comes with that, and that's fine. And at the end of the day, it's not really hate, it's not like that strong.
You don't mind bad press?
Well, I don't think we get bad press, but as far as like polls and stuff, polls really don't mean anything good or bad. Yeah, well, they just don't mean anything. It's just paper. It's just like, it's like winning all kinds of awards that don't even exist. because like that happens all the time to bands. And, but I mean, the sign that you're getting both negative and positive reactions is great. You don't want to be this mediocre band that's just right up the middle.
And how do you describe yourself? Because the media, the fans, they all describe you in many different ways. And you describe yourself as a rock band.
It's a rock band. I mean, I think we are. And I think a lot of people, especially like people that we've met and peers and things like that, like meeting people like Dave Grohl, who really like our band, and just meeting people like that. I mean, their opinion of us is the same, pretty much. We're simply a rock band.
Musically, yeah. And I want to touch on one subject that I know you find touchy, but there happens to be this huge, there's just a high percentage of, and I know you hate this word, and I'm not going to classify you this way, but a lot of kids out there think emo is the trend right now. Now, I know how you feel about that. And I know you hate it when people classify you as that. But I mean, tell me a little bit about how, I mean, sometimes people just perceive you guys in the wrong way.
I think it's just like misunderstanding. I think everything that happens in My Chemical Romance is completely exclusive from what happens in like emo, per se. I think if people would really kind of take a look at it, they'd realize it's two separate things going on. It's always been that way. Like somebody had asked me in Hong Kong, like, why do you feel like makeup is now part of emo? I'm like, it's not. Like, you know, it's unfortunate, but it's you know, the two have nothing to do with each other. There's just trend, it's a trendy thing, and people try to sell records. So I mean, it hasn't impacted the world, you know, in any way, like grunge or punk or anything cool like that. So,
but you agree that your fan base, especially in Indonesia, I've taken a look, and the huge part of the fan base do classify themselves as emo.
Yeah, I just think again, like they're misunderstanding things. They're probably hearing things secondhand or thirdhand from press, and they're thinking, oh, well, I guess that's what I am. And it's like, no, you're just somebody that likes this band. And
tell me about your style influence then. You yourselves, I mean, you guys have this a certain sense of style that a lot of people follow, and maybe that's, you know, some of them classify themselves that way because of that as well. But tell me where you get your influences from. I mean,
I think it started. You know, I think it really started with like bands like the Misfits or the Damned. I like the Damned because they actually looked, you know, so crazy, and they all looked very different. And they were together, but you know, there was lots of things like Bauhaus and The Cure and things that visually influenced us. But there was a lot of stuff like from film too that inspired us.
Let me fucking hear you! And if your heart starts moving, that's what you need. Why don't you deserve the end of your life? Get to heaven, as you wait, then you let it run and you deserve the end of your life. Let me hear you motherfuckers sing it!
And a lot of the songs that you write, some say they're gloomy.
Right.
Is that because of your influences? I mean, you like horror films, you like writing comics that are a bit dark.
I think a lot of what's on our records is the truth, and I think that people would like to think that well, that's gloomy, I don't want to listen to it. You don't have to, that's cool. But ultimately, there's really positive things on those records, and that's the ultimate goal of especially Black Parade. It's a very positive record.
And I want to ask you about the Black Parade. The announcement itself was a bit controversial at one point, just for the first few minutes. You had the announcement of the title of the album. Then you had this announcement right before the show, the one-off show, that My Chemical Romance will not be performing tonight. Instead, it'll be replaced by the Black Parade. Then the crowd's there again. Can you tell me about that? I only read it, so I don't know what.
We knew we were going to do that going into it. It was a lot of fun. it was kind of like we're big fans of like rock theater and like glam as far as like David Bowie and Queen, and that moment was really cool because nobody knew what the Black Parade was. We were able to keep it a secret,
Right.
and we were able to perform as the Black Parade. You know, yeah, and there was a lot of bummed out people at first. It was a lot of fun.
I'm gonna ask you some simpler questions. Favorite song on the album?
Probably Mama. I think it's the one song on the record that forced us to change the way we looked at making songs for the record, and it was just so expressive and creative and new. That's what we loved about it.
And where does your inspiration come from? I mean, is it different for each song, or do you start? Well, what's the starting point?
I'd say it's different for each record. Each record has kind of like a theme, and then like, you know, musically it'll draw upon certain influences. Like classic rock was Black Parade. I think 90s kind of like punk rock, like bands like Jawbreaker, was what inspired Revenge, and Bullets was actually inspired, I think, by kind of like the Misfits and like At the Gates and Iron Maiden. So yeah, so by the time we were doing Black Parade, it was solely like classic rock influence.
Right. Okay. A couple last questions. Darkest moment in your life that you wish would never happen again. At a point when.
Well, I think ultimately you have control over what happens and doesn't happen again, as far as. You know, probably, I mean, obviously being addicted to drugs and alcohol, but that wasn't even really that big of a problem. It was just a problem that I kind of stopped before it became a problem.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
So, but that was, if that was the worst it got, then that's fine.
Yeah. And collaborations. Any particular artist that you would love to work? Rihanna, maybe?
You know, I really love Tom Waits, and I mean, I think he'd be amazing, but I really like Robert Jordan too, who did a play with Tom Waits called The Black Rider, and I think something like that would be ultimately really fun to do a play, or to do the music for a play.
Awesome. So I've got to close this thing off, but any last words about performing in Indonesia? It's your first show here. What do you expect?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're expecting it to be amazing. Every single show on this tour has been amazing, and we're very lucky to be here, very excited to be here, and, you know, really just can't wait to do it.
And Indonesia's very excited to have you here. My phone's been ringing off the hook ever since they found out I'd be talking to you. So good luck with the concert, and hope you have a great show and enjoy the rest of the tour. Gerard Way will be back. This is LA Lights concert with My Chemical Romance and the Black Parade. This is Peace.
Hey Indonesia, we're My Chemical Romance. We're looking forward to coming to Jakarta and playing for you guys.
Thanks for all the support, and we'll see you soon.